So let's say we're on Phrygian way out here. We go back 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It would bring me to here, right? So that would be 11 back. So normally it would be going forward by 1. You can't see it here, but if I was on this one, I went forward to 1. You could see that distance there. And so you would think going backwards, it would be, if this was the 1 scale degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You would think it would be the -7 scale degree, but we don't have that. So I would just use the same term and say, okay, we're going to say it's going to be a -11 minor second. So notice this minor second, often, particularly on the guitar, will be used whether you're going forward or whether you're going backwards, and it will be used for different octaves as I go around the block multiple times, octaves up. So the way to include, I think the best way to include differentiation to know if you're going forwards or backwards or if you've gone past an octave is to include in your naming construction the distance taken. I either went -11 minor second or I went +1 minor second. And then if I go over an octave forward, I can say it's a 1 + 12 minor second or a 13 note away minor second. And that'll help you clarify exactly what you're talking about. So we have over here, I can add the mirror inverse into our list column wise. So if I went 1 forward, I can think of the mirror distance as 11 backwards, or the inverse distance, which I'm imagining from the other location. In other words, oftentimes if I'm thinking this way, I'm going. If I go from this G, let's go to this G again, to this C, then I'm thinking I'm going forward this way, right? And then the inverse I'm thinking is going from here backwards. And then I'm also thinking like the mirror inverse, which means how many backward steps would I have to take to get back to the same spot. So they look similar, but we're trying to clarify the different directionalities we can go. So that means that it can be a 1 note away minor second. We'll have a mirror inverse. I can go 1 step forward, or I can go -11 steps backwards. The second term, again, loses its meaning when I go backwards because it no longer is the second scale degree. It's going to be a negative scale degree, but I'm not going to worry about the negative direction. I'm going to add the idea of notes to help me. So if I go 2 steps forward, it's a 2 note away major second. What if I go backwards? Well, it's 10 steps if I go counterclockwise, but I'm still going to call it a major second. I'm not going to count negative scale degrees. So if I go forward 3 steps, then it would be 9 steps counterclockwise to get to the same spot. We call that a 3 note away major third going clockwise. Counterclockwise, I'm going to call a 9 note away major third because I don't want to think about negative scale degrees because they don't make sense going negative, and minor third, and the third still gives me the flavor. So if I go 4 forward, then I could go, if I go 4 clockwise, I could go 8 counterclockwise. We would call 4 forward 4 note away major third. Therefore, I'm going to say going counterclockwise, it would be a -8 note away major third. +4 note away major third or -8 note away major third. The third not giving me any context going negative other than to know the flavor of a major third. If I go 5 forward clockwise, I can go 7 counterclockwise around the block to get to the same spot. We call that a 5 note away perfect fourth going forward. So the other way would be a -7 note away perfect fourth. The fourth not really helping me anymore, but it still gives me the flavor. If I go 6 forward, 12 minus 6 would be -6 backwards, right in the middle of the block. That would be a 6 note away diminished fifth. Therefore, the inverse would be a -6 note away diminished fifth, or possibly augmented fourth, if we don't get messy with that one. If I go forward 7 notes, then 12 minus 7 means I can go backwards or counterclockwise to get to the same spot 5 steps. So forward would be a 7 note away perfect fifth. Therefore, the perfect fifth could also go backwards, -5 note away perfect fifth. The fifth no longer helps me think about scale degrees that way, but because it should be a negative scale degree distance-wise, but it still gives me the general flavor of if I played those two at the same time. If I go forward 8 steps clockwise, I could go counterclockwise 4 steps, -4 to get to the same spot. Forward would be an 8 note away minor sixth. Therefore, backwards is going to be a -4 note away minor 6. So the minor 6 could go forward 8 or back 4. The 6 only makes sense going forward, but still allows you the flavor when going backwards. If I go 9 notes forward, 12 minus 9 means I can go -3 steps counterclockwise. Going forward would be a 9 note away major 6. So therefore, I'm also going to say going backwards would be a -3 note away major 6. So the 6, again, only makes sense going forward, but still gives you the flavor going backwards. 10 note away forward would be 12 minus 10 or -2 steps back. So going forward, I would call it a 10 note away minor 7. Going backwards, therefore, is a -2 note away minor 7. Minor 7 could be going forward 10 or backwards 2. When going backwards, the 7 doesn't tell me negative scale degrees, but it still gives me the flavor because I kind of get an idea of what a minor 7 has a feel like. And then we have a 11 note away forward would be 12 minus 11. I can go counterclockwise 1 step. So going forward, it would be an 11 note away major 7, and therefore I can also go -1 major 7. The 7, once again, not giving me any scale degree distance information going negative, but still gives me the general flavor. So next time we'll go over what I think would be a better way to do it, which would be our modal ranges and distance terms, which can easily go backwards and forwards in a way that, of course, makes sense. And even if you don't want to use these terms, I recommend looking at it because, again, these are subtle concepts that a lot of people, like, they don't really know. Like, if you knew these concepts inside and out, your progress would be so much faster. I really think that, people are lacking progress because of the inaccurate names, which deter people from thinking about distance properly, which leads particularly to guitarists thinking only in shape. They just drop interval counting altogether. They don't know the distance. You can do it that way, but you're losing a big tool that can be really helpful.